All right, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shah, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shah, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shah, Kolo Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Kodash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, who we learn this knowledge, wisdom, and truth from. This is Lakama Kama from the Virginia branch of Great Millstone, back with another lesson. And just wanted to touch on people that believe in so-called black only Israelites. You know, the time and day we're in and the age we're in right now, you can't go off of skin color. You know, the Lord mixes through all four corners of the earth, so we'll look like all different type of nations. And this right here is example of that. This lady's name is Christine Jacobson. It says a woman raised as a white wanted to trace her ancestry. She discovered her father was black, and she was probably conceived at a swingers party. Now, of course, Titus, what is it, Titus 3 and 9, we don't, avoid foolish genealogies. We don't go to these places to get our DNA tested and all that because that's bullshit. The only thing that a DNA test can do now is if, say, you take a DNA test and a relative of yours takes the same type of DNA test, they can see that the genetics are very similar. So that's how she ended up finding out that, her father was black because, was so-called black, because she took the DNA test and it said that um, she was part uh, African or something. But the reason why she found out that it was true was because, that her father was a so-called Negro was because her mom admitted to, going to a swingers party and she remembered. And so this lady ended up finding the guy, what I mean, which proves that, he had to take you know, the ancestry or DNA test as well, because that's the only way you're gonna find out who your lineage is. You can't just spit in a cup and they say, "Oh, you're 35% Mongolian or whatever." That it doesn't work like that. Even though that's a big business and people believe it. Slovakia. But at the end of the day, her father's a so-called Negro, and if you look at her to the naked eye, she looks like a Edomite. But I wish I had the baby picture of her. If you see the baby picture of her, you could tell she's Jake, you know what I mean? But features change and all that. But she probably took on her mother's side. But like I said, we learned that we are what your father is. So we don't go to the scriptures. This is Numbers, Salakia, mm, Numbers 1 and 18, and it reads, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees. That's pedigrees, right? After their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their poles. So you are what your father is, says the Most High. You know, this is the way the Most High set things up. That's why when a woman gets married, she takes on the man's name. When a girl is born, she has, or the son is born, she takes on the father's name. Not the mother's name. Unless the father's not around or the mother mad. But traditionally, you take on the father's name because that's the lineage, that's the pedigree. So you people out here that believe in this only black, it just doesn't make sense. We go by the stock, the sperma. So regardless of who I put my sperm in, when that child comes out, he's of my stock. So he's of Yasha'Allah. I'm Lakama Ban Yahweh the Ban Yasha'Allah. So that's what my seeds are. They come from the seed of Judah, of the seed of Jacob. You know, son Salakia, son of Jacob, I should say, son of Israel. So I'm gonna get a couple more scriptures. It's not gonna be long. This is Isaiah, where I'm at. 11 and 12, and it reads. I started 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand in for an ensign of all of the people. That's Yahweh Shah. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And this word Gentile doesn't mean the actual heathen. It's the stock of Jacob that's behaving as the heathen, you know. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand against the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. See, so, you know, all different places the seed of Israel will be, you know. And so they're going to look like all these different places, you know, the people of these places, because they're mingling amongst the people. Their actions, their behavior even is going to act like the people they're around, you know. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So, you know, our people are coming from the four corners of the earth. There's no change in that. You know, there's some people that look like gooks, that look like Chinese, but they're the seed of Israel, you know. Um, Let me go back. This is John Salakia. This is John, the seventh chapter, verse 35. And it reads, Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will ye go, that we shall not find him? Will he go into the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? What manner of saying is this that he said, Ye shall seek me and shall not find me, and where I am, thither ye cannot come. In the last day, the great day of the feast, Yahweh Shah stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come to me and drink. If any man thirst, talking about you, in order for you to thirst for this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you have to have the seed of Israel. You got to have the spirit on you, you know. It says, He that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. So even though somebody might look like this, if they seek and really yearn the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding the truth of it, of Yasha'Allah, then yeah, it got to be Israelite, you know. Simple as that, man. Because the spirit shows us, you know, it tells us. Romans 8:16. It says, the spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. You know, so you try the spirit to see if somebody of our stock, you know, you don't just go off of face value, you know. Simple as that. You know, let's go to First John. This is First John 4:1. It says, Beloved, believe not every spirit. Yeah, so you don't believe somebody just because they say they are, you know, a certain manner of person, right? But try the spirits where they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are going out into the world. Yeah, you got to check them. You got to say, hey, do you believe in this? You know, look at the mannerisms. You know, do you essentially believe the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the 100% doctrine that we have? You know, now you know sometimes it might take a little longer for them to agree with everything, but you know you'll recognize if he got a spirit and a zeal on him. You know. Simple as that, you know. You know, but the Lord scattered us, so you know you got to get out of there with that black only. You got only a dark skin. That's just stupid. You know, if you're a dark skinned man and sleep with a so-called white woman, nine times out of ten, well, I ain't gonna say nine, but there's a big possibility that that baby's gonna come out light. You know, this is Ezekiel 36:19, and it reads. And I scattered them among the heathen, right? Among the heathen, see her skin complexion, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way and according to their doings. I judged them, you know? So at any given time, you know, you'll see somebody that might look like a certain person, a certain nation, I should say, nationality. But right here it says, I scattered them among the heathen, you know? Can't get around it, man. I don't know why people still fighting this thing. You know, let's keep going. I'm just gonna grab a couple more. Joel 3:2. Well, I started one. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So Israel has been scattered among the nations. It don't matter, it don't matter skin complexion. Yes, you know, that's a thing we look at initially, but then this thing is spiritual. We got to try the spirit, man. We got to see where you at with it. That's why you brothers in these camps that automatically screaming at a so-called white man, you ain't even have a conversation with him to see where he at with it. And that's not spiritual. And this thing, hey, the scripture say the weapons of our world warfare are not carnal. And you acting carnal, just screaming on a so-called white man. He ain't even check. And just because he's a white man doesn't mean he's of Esau. He's not of Edom. He could be a Elamite. He could be a Ishmaelite. You never know, just because he's a so-called white. He could be because there's a lot of people that say they are from like Puerto Rico or from Cuba. They might not have an Israel stock, but you never know. They might not be of Edom, you know, and that's just the truth. And speaking of, look at Salakia, look at Ephraim. What's the scripture say about Ephraim? Let's go to Hosea real quick. Hosea 7 and 8, right? It says, Ephraim have mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Now we know Ephraim is of our stock of Yasha'Allah, but he has mixed himself with other nations and primarily the lighter nations, right? And look at them. A lot of Ephraimites look like some of them can pass for Esau. Now, yes, there's certain people that's calling themselves Puerto Rican that are really Edomites, but once again, we go back to the spiritual thing of this. Can't be carnal, especially nowadays. You don't know who you rolling up on. The scriptures talk about angel unawares. You never know who you dealing with. So this is I just wanted to bring this out. You know, she walking around believing she was a straight up white woman. That devastated her because these so-called white people have that white privilege thing going on. So when she found out she had a so-called Negro as a father, I know kind of fucked with her, and she probably don't want to bring that out to everybody she's around because she's gonna be looked at differently. That's part of the curses, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just wanted to bring this out real quick, man. Don't judge a don't judge for face value. That's why I'll name this video. Do not judge off of face value, because this thing is spiritual. So with that, I hope this was edifying. To the next time, call Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachach Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Mawaf Lobabal, Shalom.